Good evening, Kayla. Good evening, fellow classmates. I chose to research the Vale Inco pollution in Sudbury, and I found this research interesting and shocking at the same time. I learned from this local issue about the extent of the seepage from the smelter, um, the waste and the effects on the environment as a result of mining in our city. I learned that the mining sector is responsible for some of the largest releases of heavy metals into the environment. It also releases other air pollutants, including sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides, in addition to leaving behind tons of waste tailings, slag, and acid drainage. Occupational and environmental exposure to heavy metals, silica, and asbestos can occur during mining operations. The smelting process, that is extracting the metal from the ore, is associated with the highest exposure and environmental releases. The hazards to human health caused by exposure to heavy metals, including lead, cadmium, and mercury, have been thoroughly documented. These metals are associated with a range of neurological deficits in both children and adults, in addition to a range of other universal effects. Exposure to airborne silica and asbestos can cause lung cancer, pneumonia, and numerous other health issues. Let's talk a little bit about the history of Vale. Vale Inco Limited is one of the world's top producers of nickel. It operates Canada's largest mining processing operation in Sudbury, Ontario, and runs other mines in Canada, the United Kingdom, and Indonesia. It has interests in refinery in Japan, Taiwan, South Korea, and sales and operations in over 40 countries worldwide. Overall, Inco produces about 25% of nickel used globally. The company also produces cobalt, copper, precious metals, and specialty nickel. I will now talk a little bit about Vale's operation and the effect on our environment. Environment Canada investigated Vale's smelting operations in Sudbury, Ontario for allegedly leaking toxic runoff into local waterways since at least 1963. The allegations were contained in a warrant the government agency used to seize documents, computers, and related materials from Vale as part of the investigation and into the violations of the Fisheries Act. In the warrant, Environment Canada accused the company of allowing acutely lethal seepage from the smelter waste piles into water frequented by fish, and that they knew about the leakage for years and did nothing about it. The accusations indicated the seepage started well before Vale took control of the smelter when it acquired Inco Limited in 2006 for US $17.6 billion. The Environment Canada investigation was triggered after a Sudbury resident noticed a foamy lime green colored substance in a creek in October 2012. The federal agency's officers followed the seepage back to Vale's Coppercliff smelter slag storage. The slag storage area was a massive 200-hectare waste dump in active use since 1929, with more than 115 million tons of smelter waste. Environment Canada Enforce officers responded to the 2012 incident and found light greenish colored water flowing from the smelter waste heaps into a Sudbury Catholic District School Board property and then into the city's main drain. Those storm drains flowed into the Nolens Creek and then into Junction Creek, both of which are considered fish-bearing creeks. When the tests were conducted on the substance found in the creek in October 2012, it showed that it killed all fishes in the test within 24 hours. and was confirmed to be poisonous and harmful under the Fisheries Act. Samples of the creek showed the nickel levels to be 68 times higher than regulated limits and copper levels 2.6 times higher, while tests on water from the school board property showed nickel levels to be 305 times the limit. Environment Canada spoke with Dennis Forshner, manager of facility services at the school board, who told investigators that the back of the property was always wet, even in dry summers, and that he had observed various colored water coming from the Big Nickel Mine Drive into the school board property since at least 1988. Aerial photographs from 1963 showed water flowing from the waste heaps onto the nearby property, and that the width and depth of the erosion around the stream also indicated the flow has been going on for decades. In 1999, environmental issues became an increasingly expensive concern for Inco. The company was faced with an $80,000 fine for sulfur trioxide leak from its Copper Cliff refinery in 1987 of April, and also faced repeated requests to regulate the sulfur dioxide released into the atmosphere by the smelting operations in Sudbury. Responding to what McLean's called the largest single source of sulfur dioxide pollution on the continent, Inco launched a series of reduction programs with a price tag of $500 million to substantially lower the emissions by 1994. To meet this goal, Inco planned to implement new magnetic separators to extract sulfur from ore and replace natural gases, burning furnaces, and oxygen flash furnaces, which used oxygen rather than fossil fuels, eliminating toxic emissions altogether. Additionally, the new processes would significantly lower energy costs and boost efficiency. A study done for Vale by independent environmental consultant Water Earth Science Associates in 2012 found that water was seeping onto the school board property during dry times at a rate of 45 liters per minute in one area and 180 liters a minute in another, for a total of 324,000 liters a day. Studies dating back to the 1990s show further evidence of wastewater seeping from the slag piles, but that the company did nothing about it until they were ordered to by Environment Canada. It was found that Vale had knowledge of the seepage discharge and had failed to take action to address the seepage discharge until a direction was issued. On October 24, 2008, Inco asked Ontario government for relief on its nickel emissions levels. Though through the regulation, the province had set newer and more stringent air quality standards, said Ed, the manager of Environment Ontario operations of Vale Inco. When the fluid bed roaster plant was commissioned, SO2 emissions were reduced from below the 2007 limit of 175 kilotons. Between 2005 and 2015, another reduction of 66 kilotons was expected. Out of 870 samples over the last 5 years, 15 were above the standards set by the Ontario Ministry of Environment. Vale's lawyer Douglas Hamilton, in defense, said that the runoff from the waste pile had not been identified as an issue. When the issue came up and became the subject of investigation in 2012 with the government regulations, Vale immediately took measures to address it. Vale embarked on a clean atmospheric emissions reduction project. This is the largest single environmental investment in Sudbury's history and one of the largest in Ontario, Canada. The Clean Air AER was promised to result in an 85% reduction in sulfur dioxide emissions from current levels when the project was completed. Vale is an active member of the Mining Association of Canada and voluntarily participate in the association's initiative called towards sustainable mining. This initiative aims to improve the industry's performance by aligning its actions with the priorities and values of Canadians. The TSM provides a way of finding common ground with communities of interest in order to build a better mining industry today and for the future. The TSM is based on a guiding principle that are in turn supported by performance elements and indicators. Currently, Vale and its fellow Canadian mining companies measure TSM performance indicators. They have 4 indicators: crisis management planning, energy use and greenhouse gas emissions management, external outreach, tailings management. In 2003, Vale agreed to fund an expanded air monitoring program including samples of particulate matter, which is thought to be more relevant for inhalation into a person's lungs. In 10 locations, 20 monitors were set up. That data was used in the Sudbury soil study. In May 2007, Vale and Inco initiated mobile monitoring. Monitors were mounted to a truck and trailer, allowing for more flexibility of assessing the dust. Real-time dust monitors were installed in some baghouses and the signals routed to the control room, for instance, viewing by operators. On November 7, 2014, Vale stated that they no longer needed approval from the Ministry of Environment to tear down the super stack. Vale said a new stack wouldn't be anywhere near the current 1,250 foot height, but the company would ensure a new stack is tall enough so emissions don't have an impact on local residents. So Vale has taken serious steps to try to secure our environment, and we appreciate that. I thank you. Good evening.